want to take a moment here and share with you 6 things that I did to find more happiness in my life. If you are somebody who's looking to create more happiness in their own life, then maybe one of these steps or all these steps can help you in achieving that goal. Happiness was something that was not easy for me. As a INTJ personality type, I tend to kind of put emotions and stuff onto the side, onto the back burner. But as I'm reaching the end of the first half of my life and I'm moving into the second half of my life, meaning I'm reaching 40 years old, which is the second and final half of my life, I've really wanted to focus on making happiness a priority. Because whether I have happiness or I lack happiness in my life, it affects the people around me and the people that I love and I really care about, like my family, my kids, and my close friends. So I've really done a lot of reflecting on this, a lot of pondering on this, and for the past few years, I've really been making it a conscious effort to acquire more happiness in my life. So first things is that these 6 steps that I want to share with you are not things that I just did. These are things that I am currently still doing. And sometimes it does take a little bit more conscious energy to make sure that I am applying these things every single day. Some days it's easy, and other days it could be a little bit more difficult, especially when my default INTJ personality type wants to start kicking back in pretty strong. That's when it's up to me to reconfirm the decision that I've made about making sure I'm creating more happiness in my life. So the first thing that I've found to do is to focus more on the gains than on the losses. When I started focusing on what I was accomplishing, what I was gaining more in my life, meaning the good things, the positive things, my mindset started to become more positive thinking, more positive vibes. And as this becomes habit over time, negativity becomes harder to reach in and crush down the positive energy. It's kind of like that saying how, one negative can crush away 10 positives. Years ago, when I was pondering on that, I'm like, well, who made up that rule to begin with? And because I don't know the answer to that, I'm like, well, why am I accepting that as is? Is it possible to change that perspective around and maybe create one positive can destroy 5 or 10 negatives? And as I focus more on my gains and focusing less on my losses, not saying that I'm ignoring the losses, and when there is a loss, the first thing you do is recognize that and then immediately start looking towards positive solutions. So my positive solutions are already defeating that one negative loss. And with practice, this becomes habit and it becomes a lot easier over time. This one thing has been a pretty big one for me on staying positive and bringing in more happiness into my day-to-day. The second thing that I made sure I was doing, and just like I'm doing right now, is making sure I'm spending more time outside and in nature. I feel revived and I feel good and strong and energetic and refreshed and rejuvenated when I get to go outside and either go for a walk, go for a hike, go sit down just like I am right here, even go train and go work out within nature. There's a lot of places in the world where doctors are now prescribing people to go take green showers to relieve stress and anxiety and depression. And what a green shower is just go and spend some time walking around in a forest or by the stream in a natural environment. It's been proven that those who spend more time outside in nature tend to be happier than those that don't. Number 3, this one's kind of like a cliche because everybody says it, but it's true when I started to imply it more. And that is to appreciate the little things. To be able to sit down with Christy and just enjoy a cup of tea, to be able to sit back and watch the kids play and just enjoy that moment. And not everything has to be this big grand gesture all the time. In fact, too much of that can actually be pretty draining on your energy sources. But the little things, the little sweet things, those never drain your energy. In fact, they always recharge your energy. To enjoy the little local cafe or bakery shop with a friend or with your family. It's amazing at how much joy that brings into your day. It can flip a bad mood to a great mood with you, with the people that you're with. And then what seemed like it was going to be a dreadful day actually turns out to be a pretty awesome day. So take the time to appreciate and enjoy those little things. The fourth thing I started doing to achieve more happiness is spending more time living and less time working. I know this may not be ideal for everybody, as these are things that I've done that works for me, but when I was beginning my business, I was putting in literally 80 to 100 hours a week working 6 to 7 days a week to try to earn as much money as I could. This was draining, not only from my own energy supplies, but it was getting in the way of me and Christy and the kids and our family time. So over the last few years, I was like, let me be a little bit of a mad scientist here and take a step back from work and put a little bit more time into just enjoying and living and spending time where I've always wanted to spend more time, which is just in life. Sacrifice making that few extra dollars that month and instead put that time into living a few extra hours that month. I found that the few extra dollars wasn't even a sacrifice at all. But time, I don't want to sacrifice any more of that. The fifth thing that I started doing, because Christy and I were really talking about this a lot, is protecting our circle or our social circle. We want to make sure that anybody that comes into our group of friends and peers are people that bring energy in that we want to be surrounded by. If you don't want negativity in your life, then people that carry that baggage with them, make sure that they're not in your life. This can sometimes be some pretty tough decisions because sometimes you got to let go of people that have been in your life for a long time. But you got to think of the greater good here. And when you're positive and you're more happy, you will start to attract those types of people into your life. It may take a little while, but they'll come. When you're unhappy, you're going to attract unhappy people. When you're happy, you're going to attract more happy people. It's kind of like when you buy a new car. All of a sudden, you start seeing that car everywhere on the road, but you never saw it before you got that car. Happiness does the same thing. The happier you are, the more happy you see. The less happy you are, the less happy you see. So protect your social circle and make sure that only the vibes that you want to be around is what you allow in. Number 6, this was a big one. I stopped comparing myself to others. Look, I always looked at myself as this highly individual, independent thinker. But as I took a step back to observe myself, I very quickly started to learn that I was not as an independent, individual high thinker as I thought. I was actually comparing myself to a lot of people, especially when I was starting my business. One of the steps that I took to knock off this type of behavior, comparing myself to all these other people, in these different realms of life, right? Because when we look at life, we have our work or, our career or business. We have our personal goals, our professional goals, or maybe our fitness, skills, and some comparison to a level is important. But when it starts to become detrimental to your happiness, you got to know when to cut that off. When I started to catch myself comparing my business to other people's business, my fitness level to other people's fitness level, the exercises I was doing, was I doing them as good as this person was doing them? It started to put a lot more stress into my body and into my thinking that I wasn't actually performing to my optimal level because I was trying to perform at a level that I wasn't at yet. And as a martial arts teacher, I should know this intuitively because in the martial arts, as it's always taught, that when you're learning something new, you can't be training it at an advanced level. You got to build the foundation first. So the moment that I caught myself doing this comparison and then I just stopped comparing myself to others and I only started comparing my skills to what I was doing and what my potential was, it not only released all that internal stress that I was building from this external vision, but it started to give me a clear pathway on what I needed to do and the systems that I needed to create and put into place that worked best for me. That relief allows more happiness to come into fruition. So these are currently the top 6 things that I have found to incorporate in my daily life that brings more happiness. Maybe one or more of these things can help you to find more happiness if that is something that you need more of in your life. And if you have any other things and tips and tricks that you have found works for you in creating more happiness in your life, please leave those down in the comments to help me out and to help other people out that may find this video. Thanks so much for taking a moment to listen to my little bit of a rant, I guess. I am no expert at happiness. I got a lot of work to do. I got a long way to go, but I'm working on it. If you like this video, maybe you want to hang out here at my channel from time to time, make sure to like this video, give it a thumbs up, and subscribe to the channel here. And I'll see you back here next time. I'm not really posting on like a regular basis. It's kind of whenever the ideas and thoughts kind of come into my head. But I'll see you again soon. All right, later.